The added time conspiracy theories are getting demolished, Reo Hatate's problems at Celtic are getting worse, and Martin Keown just declared himself a Celtic fan on live radio while calling out Scottish media bias. Plus, a former Celtic defender is back at Wigan, and fans are debating whether Sebastian Tenecti deserves to start against Stuttgart. But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Alright, let's talk about this added time conspiracy that's been doing the rounds on social media, because honestly, it's getting out of hand. Following the 7 minutes of added time at the weekend, which was entirely justified by the way, a wave of completely false statistics started circulating online. One tweet that went viral claimed to show added time figures across the league, and they had Celtic sitting top of the table with 211 total minutes of added time this season. But here's the thing, the data was simply wrong. Very wrong, in fact. If you actually look at the correct data, the narrative quickly collapses. Data Boys published a great graphic using FOTMob data, and guess what? Rangers averaged the highest amount of added time per match in the league, sitting at just under 5 minutes per game. Livingston and Falkirk are not far behind them. Celtic, meanwhile, averages around 4 minutes and 15 seconds of added time per 90 minutes, making them the second lowest among the top sides. Kilmarnock sit bottom of that particular table at roughly 4 minutes and 10 seconds. So no, as Chris Boyd claimed, the board is not set to quote until Celtic score. That theory does not stand up to even the lightest scrutiny. Celtic score late goals because they play to the final whistle. There is nothing sinister about that. It is also worth remembering that Kilmarnock had exactly the same 7 minutes of added time to go and score a winner themselves. As tempting as it may be to start and spread conspiracies, wouldn't it be simpler to acknowledge the obvious? Teams are more likely to waste time when they are winning or drawing against Celtic or Rangers. That naturally leads to more added time. Now for the main story, as Reo Hatate's situation at Celtic has gone from concern to full-blown problem. The Japanese midfielder has endured a torrid run since January, and it is becoming increasingly difficult to argue against the criticism coming his way. Hatate appeared to be eyeing a move away, with interest last summer and again during the winter window, but nothing materialized. Since then, his performances have absolutely nosedived. There have been costly moments. Against Bologna in Europe, Hatate arguably cost Celtic 3 points, picking up a second yellow card just minutes after his first and leaving his side short at a crucial stage. Domestically, his influence has been minimal. He failed to make an impact against Dundee in the Cup, conceded the penalty that brought Livingston back into the game, and was hooked at half-time against Kilmarnock after another anonymous display that saw him drift through the first half like an empty jersey. There is no disputing Hatate's talent. At his best, he is a dynamic, game-changing midfielder capable of dominating matches. The problem is that those performances feel increasingly distant. You now have to look back beyond this season to find a game where he truly stood out and drove Celtic forward. Under Martin O'Neill, trust appears to be wearing thin. Hatate's body language has been questioned, his decision-making sloppy, and his discipline unreliable. In a title run-in where margins are razor-thin, that is not a combination that inspires confidence. The latest criticism has come from Robert Grieve, who did not hold back when discussing Hatate on the Press Box podcast. Reo Hatate doesn't want to be there, he said. He's watched moves come and go, probably in the summer, was expecting something in January, it didn't happen. I don't think Martin O'Neill can trust him. That's certainly how I look at it, kind of outside looking in. It is a damning assessment, but one that aligns with what many supporters are seeing on the pitch. Celtic cannot afford passengers at this stage of the season. Hatate still has the ability to turn this around, but time is running out. If he wants a move, he needs to earn it. Right now, he isn't. In other news, Martin Keown has just dropped a bombshell on TalkSport, and it's got people talking. The Arsenal legend was in a radio debate about the Scottish Premiership with Jim White and Bill Leckie from the Scottish Sun. But things took a turn when Keown refused to believe that Leckie was a neutral. Bill, you say you're a neutral, which I find absolutely massively hard to believe, by the way, Keown said. The former England defender insisted, well, you know why. Because up there, there's always an allegiance to one team or another, no? Well, I'm a Celtic fan, okay? I want Celtic to win it. Jim White interjected, we're not talking about you. You've just said that you find it hard that Bill doesn't support one of those three. Leckie may be a St Mirren supporter, but ask any Celtic fan about his employers, the Scottish Sun, and you'll get a very different answer. After an exhausting week, the Hoops now have to deal with the small matter of a Europa League tie against Stuttgart. Sandwiched between the two legs, the first of which is at Celtic Park on Thursday, is a home league match against Hibs. No holds barred from Martin Keown here. In other news, former Celtic defender Gary Caldwell has returned to Wigan Athletic to become their new manager. Caldwell, who came through the ranks at Lennox Town between 2006 and 2010, enjoyed a successful playing career with Wigan, captaining them to FA Cup glory in 2013. He won League One with the Latics in the 2015/16 campaign and now returns following a spell with Exeter City. Wigan find themselves in the relegation zone at the moment, but are only 2 points adrift of safety with 16 games to go. After a solid playing career, Caldwell has done relatively well in management. As well as Exeter and Wigan, the 43-year-old has also managed Chesterfield and Partick Thistle. His former manager Gordon Strachan was a huge part of that, and he revealed in 2015, during his first spell with Wigan, that he still speaks to his former boss. The former Hoops boss is back to a place that means so much to him. There has been quite a bit of crossover between Celtic and Wigan over the years in terms of players. Current assistant manager Sean Maloney had a spell as a player and manager at Wigan. Others also include Willow Flood, Liam Shaw, and John Joe Kenny, who all had brief spells at both sides, all with contrasting fortunes. Lastly, Sebastian Tenecti made a game-changing impact for Celtic against Kilmarnock, and fans were asked if he should start against Stuttgart. Tenecti was the star of the show against Kilmarnock, getting the Hoops back into the game with a stunning effort from the edge of the box. With Stuttgart next to come in the Europa League, fans joined the conversation to say if they think Tenecti should start against the Bundesliga side. Martin O'Neill had plenty of praise for Tenecti, and while supporters acknowledged that he was a huge part of the boys' turnaround, the decision to start him has left fans divided. One person said, "A no-brainer for me. He looks more engaged, is offering more during games, and has stood up tall when Celtic needed him most." Another fan commented, "Take back everything I've said about Tenecti as well. What a player." Someone else added, "From now on, Maida and Hatate should be benched. Unless they prove they can be asked, both should be used as subs if we need them. I have a lot of criticism for Tenecti, but recently he's upped his game massively, and I'd have him start." Another supporter noted, "Tenecti has improved a lot since Martin came back." One fan emphasised, "Tenecti gets it. He doesn't hide. He gives everything for the badge. That game might decide the title. We march with O'Neill." And finally, Tenecti has to start from now until the end of the season. He actually offers something off the wing, especially since Maida has completely chucked it. The debate continues, but one thing's clear. Tenecti has won over a lot of doubters with his recent performances. That's all the latest Celtic news for today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one. Hail, hail.